Hi, my name is Dr. Greg Doerr, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about how is it that you can create an expertise in what you do as a chiropractor. Now, my office has several specialties associated with it. I've lectured internationally for 18 years now on soft tissue rehab and taping techniques and evaluation and diagnosis, movement assessment, things along those lines. So how do you develop those expertise? Where do you get that from? And I can tell you right now, especially where I feel sometimes people coming out of school are a little less enthralled with getting extra education, feeling like they got enough in school. All I can tell you is, as my mentor loves to say, schooling is designed to make you minimally competent, not to be a hazard to the public. In other words, you're trained to be a chiropractor, not to be an expert chiropractor. A lot of that comes, unfortunately, after school, where you get experience and you get more postgraduate education. Now, where can you get this postgraduate education? Now, I have to say, a lot of the resources I've used are numerous. Colleagues. I have people who I feel are experts in different areas of the body. Somebody might be an expert on a shoulder, some might be on foot and ankle, some might be on cognitive, some might be on breathing patterns, some might be in a lot of different areas. They're my go-to people. If I get stuck with something in my office, they're my first phone call. Hey, this is what's going on with my patient. Is there anything that you do that I haven't done that might actually be helping me progress this patient along? So my colleagues are my first line of defense. Secondly, of course, research. Where do we get research? Research is expensive. It's not the easiest thing in order to get. So a lot of my colleagues work within university settings. That helps me get access to a lot of this research. And through clinic groups that I belong to, a lot of the times we're passing along research articles from one person to the other for the purpose of education. Another major aspect is obviously online. We have resource centers that are phenomenal at this point. Now, we have Performance Health in particular has the Performance Health Academy, where you can actually utilize a lot of talent from some of the brightest people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Phil Page in particular is one of those people who has constantly been a resource for me for research, whether it's on taping, rehab, soft tissue. He is an amazing source that helps me get through a lot of this material. Not to mention knowing it's good quality material, because it won't go up there unless it is. CLX apps are another great way of saying, hey, look, how do I do an exercise associated with this body part or this exercise? How do I use CLX for that? And there's a simple video showing you that. So those are great resources. So we have our colleagues, we have online resources. Another massive one is constantly taking seminars, classes that will make you an expert in that subject matter. Now, in particular, again, people have asked me, well, okay, so I took this class, I don't need to take anything else, right? I took an instrument-assisted class, why would I take another one? That's the biggest mistake you could ever make. Now, understanding that you might not want to say, oh, I just took this instrument-assisted class, so I'm going to take this next one next month. Well, look, if you've got the funds and the time to do that, that's great. But the simple reality is, if you're looking at me, I've taken almost every instrument-assisted class I could possibly have taken. I've taken tons of different manual therapy classes. I've taken tons of rehab classes. I've taken almost every kinesiology tape certification that there is. Not because I wasn't good at what I was doing, is I want as much education as I possibly can get to make sure that I'm at the highest expertise I possibly can be regarding that message or that modality. So if you've stopped at one class, you're probably making a mistake. Now, that being said, we're all limited on time and money, so you might be looking for the classes that give you the biggest bang in education, not necessarily certification. Certifications are letters that come after a name, which, in all honesty, we really shouldn't be using very often. However, education is what gets our patients better faster, which creates greater referral sources, and in all honesty, builds your practice faster than anything else. So you want to look for classes that are going to give you the greatest amount of information that you can integrate directly into your practice after a simple weekend. Those classes are critical. If you're looking for information on any of those, I have my top ones that I do associated with movement assessment, with soft tissue, with taping, with rehab. I have my top ones that I do for that. If you're ever interested, you can always look me up, Google me, and email me. I'd be happy to share that information with you. But the biggest thing I can say is, how is it that you utilize sources to keep educating yourself? You have online resources, you have your colleagues, and you have seminars. Those are our three biggest avenues. Obviously, reading is big too. We have textbooks and other online or other print resources that we can utilize, videos. However, the one thing I would warn most people is, please don't think you're an expert just because you watched a YouTube video. It seems to be a common trend in this public. Just remember, The forum of YouTube and social medias doesn't make somebody an expert, it just means they had a camera. Nobody's there to challenge them, nobody's there to ask where the research was associated with that. And that's where hands-on classes become very, very important, because you can actually challenge your instructor, and it's great when you find that instructor that says, you know, I don't have the answer to that, but I'm going to look it up and I'll get back to you. That at least allows for the integration of questions and answers, as well as a greater learning experience. Social medias are fantastic for marketing perspectives, probably not as great for educational perspectives. Once again, I'm Dr. Greg Doerr, and those are the ways that I tend to get my education.